When you think of immigration, what do you think of? Is it Trump? Did the ideas of crime and drug trafficking come to your mind? We'll come back to these ideas in a moment. But for now, sit tight as I explain exactly why any of these things may have popped into your head. First of all, immigration has been a pressing issue within the United States for many years. And with the media and its presence, Mexican immigration and other major topics are often misinterpreted by the American people and within their culture, influencing the viewers and creating an incorrect perception of such topics. How the media has portrayed large topics has stayed consistent throughout centuries. Even before popular television shows and news brands existed, the media has been feeding the public information in the same familiar fashion. The study, Death in the Media, depicts this portrayal of extensive topics by the media in the early 20th century, focusing specifically on the reporting of typhoid fever, a bacterial fever that was commonly spread through contaminated substances. To give you a quick rundown of the study, the authors examined news coverage and how unexpected increases or decreases in death rates affected this. The study examined the total amount of newspaper articles written by large media sources at the time, such as the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune, that specifically mentioned typhoid and exactly what each article described in its contents. For example, raises in death rates or a drop in total infectious people within the country. Their calculations showed that, on the whole, reports of typhoid followed mortality patterns, with more reporting in a high mortality regime than in a low mortality regime. This is not to say that every report written was specifically aimed at the rise in mortality rates, but that the media had a tendency to cover the more detrimental and harmful side of the disease and the spread of the virus, versus the positive of more promising outlooks. This study stands as an example of how many of the top news sources covered mainly one side of major topics, even in the earlier days of the United States, and can be used when observing how the media covers such topics today. Although the United States does not deal with the epidemic of typhoid fever anymore, the connection between the media and its portrayal of major topics, such as immigration, is still a prevailing issue. A more recent study illustrates a conclusion that is similar to that of the previously mentioned study on typhoid. The study was called Reporting on Immigration, and it examined articles discussing Mexican immigration, as well as the media's coverage of Mexican immigration and the influence it may have on public opinion. The study focused on four main media channels: the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and Washington Post. These four media channels were selected because they not only showed a regional view of events, but also showed a national view as well. The study concluded that the majority, 52.5%, of all articles about immigration produced by one of these four channels focused on illegal immigration, and the second largest topic, 50.6% of the remaining articles left, was that of crime in relation to immigration. With such a large amount of articles covering unfavorable aspects of immigration, the public was exposed to more negative than positive sides. As articles produced by popular sources continually impact United States inhabitants, many influential and political leaders also have a large potential to affect them as well. Now, back to Trump. Assuming all of you have at least heard of our 45th President of the United States, I'm sure you can picture him. If anything, Donald Trump is known for his considerably bad remarks. For example, his comment that was made when he first announced his run for presidency in June of 2015.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Targeting Mexican immigrants, Trump implied that many, if not all, are drug trafficking, criminalistic people, even referring to some as rapists. Many mass media sources instantly grappled this comment, producing articles upon articles on not his presidential campaign, but his nasty comment directed towards immigrants coming from Mexico. Such a radical comment, in conjunction with a large political event, the press conference, pushed Trump's remarks out to the American public eye. Along with this twisted statement, Trump has also been known to express his degrading perception of immigration, specifically from Mexico, through less formal social outlets such as Twitter. For example, this tweet written by Trump that states, "It is outrageous what the Democrats are doing to our country. Vote Republican." Embedded within his tweet, Trump includes a video, as shown.
Ad, possibly one of the last campaign ads for these midterms, might just be the most racist in our lifetime. Let's watch.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please step out of the hallway. Break out soon? No, kill more. See, the only thing that we're dead is if I can just kill two. I wish I could kill more of those. Kill more cops soon.
He says he wants to apply for pardon for the felony he committed. Attempt of murder.
Not only does Trump defame the reputation of the Democratic Party within his tweet, with the image of a Hispanic immigrant and the wording he chose to portray his message, the public sees not only a murderer, but a murderer of Hispanic descent. With Trump pushing the viewers of his tweet to vote Republican to potentially stop Hispanic and/or Latino immigrants from immigrating into the United States. Tweets and other forms of informal and formal media such as this leave a foul taste in the mouths of viewers. But despite what Trump says, the statistics show that even for illegal immigrants, only 18% of the total illegal population commit documented crimes, according to the article Unauthorized Immigrants with Criminal Convictions. Not all of these crimes, though, are rape or murder. So, although 18% of the illegal immigrants have committed crimes, they're not always as large scale as Trump makes them seem to be. In comparison to Mexican immigrants as a whole, the numbers are a lot less. This is a great example of how mass media and influential people can project corrupt and over-exaggerated ideas onto topics or groups of people. For example, take this video.
I don't know why you hate us. Why do you hate us? Because we're Mexicans?
I heard her from the other side of the property yelling at my mom, go back to Mexico. And that's when I, I rushed over and I said, hey, what's your problem? What's going on?
We're honest people right here. Rapists? How many people have I raped? How many drugs have I dealt? Oh, yeah? You believe everything you see on the news? You see how we're working hard right here?
No, dígale, ella está viendo, dígale,
Look, here.
dígale, ya vio que acabamos. No, dígale, dígale.
She came out of her home to, yell at my mom. She just started yelling and repeating that, and I'm just like, nobody yells at my mom like that. Sorry.
Trump's statements and views can strongly impact people's ways of thinking. And as this video shows, many people may project his comments onto those of Hispanic or Latino ethnicities as a whole. The American view on broad ideas like immigration shifts, and is majorly impacted by the media and what viewers are exposed to. When exposed to only a single negative side of something, it is hard for the viewer to see it as anything but bad. Because of the media's tendency to focus on the detrimental and harmful effects of immigration and the negative outlook on immigrants themselves, American culture has begun to accept these terrible ideas, as many people within our society share these beliefs due to their exposure to people such as Trump and the media sources surrounding them.